Alrighty, welcome back to Musical Connections. This is NextIIConnect, and I'm your host, Zach Snow. Well, joining me right now, these guys are up for a Canadian Folk Music Award, an East Coast Music Award, and a Juno Award for their album, Welcome to the Flea Circus. They are also previous Juno Award winners with their album, More Sleep, Less Sheep. And joining me now to talk all about what they got in store for the upcoming year and their many award nominations, the Swinging Bells, Laura Winter, Erin Power, and Duane Andrews. Guys, welcome to Musical Connections.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations on all your awards. Canadian Folk Music Award, a Juno, ECMA nominations. That's insane, just for one album.
It really is. It's been a really busy and surprising and exciting year for us. So 2024 is kicking off to be with a strong start.
And congratulations to you too, Duane, on your nomination for East Coast Music Awards for your Hot Club of Conception Bay.
Yes,
and
the Anthology album. Well, thanks for that as well, Zach.
And you guys have been pretty busy over the past year or so. So how does it feel to be recognized for so many awards just for this album alone for Welcome to the Flea Circus?
Well, we're pretty tickled. It's we're calling it the little album that could now because it's when we did we do all our own recording and producing. Duane does that in house, and this one Duane also did the mixing, mastering. So it's a 100% Swinging Bells effort, and so when we just kind of did it over a few weeks there last fall, and we're also so busy with so many other things, but we kind of blocked that time off, and Duane said, all right, I got between this date and this date, and it was about 2 weeks. So whatever you got. So we were going down mornings before school started, coming in the evenings, popping into lay a track at a time and going hard at it.
Yeah, and you guys aren't full-time musicians, really. Like you, Laura, and Erin over there. You guys are elementary school teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to say we have 2 full-time jobs.
Awesome.
So yeah, we are busy. We are very busy people.
Very busy.
Yeah. So we music is definitely a nice balance in our lives. So.
Absolutely. Now, I want to go back to your early days in music. Just ask you, what got you all into music in the first place? So whoever wants to jump on that first, go right ahead.
I mean, well, for me, just growing up in the house, like there was music around, and on both sides of the family, like I had a Aunt Mame and an Uncle Ern, and they were both, just really into music. So whenever we go visit, either side of the family, there was always someone I'd kind of look forward to seeing, just because, like with Aunt Mame, she was like a country diva, kind of down around Southport, Northwestbrook, Clarenville area. And she used to play with this fella, Reg. And Reg, so this is back in the 80s, but Reg had drum machines and this bass sequencer thing and amplifiers and Stratocasters, and they kept it all in their gear room. So I just remember going and the door would be open and you look into the gear room and it's just totally fascinating and captivating and exciting. So, there was music around, I guess it just got me inspired in that way, yeah.
What about yourself, Erin?
I grew up in a really musical family as well, so music just growing up was always a big part of our lives. We sang a lot together just in the house, and we kind of always, our celebrations together were always based around music. There'd always be some kind of music involved. Mm-hmm. So we just learned to play music together over time, and I think from that I really, I have a real love of harmony, and so I think that came from singing with people for so long. And then I always just sang with friends in the kitchen, and Laura and I were singing together down in the kitchen at our house, just making music.
Oh,
and
nice.
We kind of just took it out into the public world.
Nice.
It wasn't until a bit later, I was through my 20s before I actually started playing in public.
Oh, wow.
So that was a pretty cool experience.
So what was that feeling like getting out there for the first time playing in public?
It was wildly nerve-wracking.
I'd imagine it'd be.
Yeah, it was, but it was also invigorating, and it was exciting, and it pushed me right outside my comfort zone. And that's a space that I like to live in. And so I did it, and then I wanted to do more of it. And so it kind of just started to I started doing the RPM challenge. It was that was a big moment, was to put actually music out into public. There was many times during that first RPM that I was like, nope, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm gonna do it. This is foolishness. And then I kept going and going and going. And then Laura and I started making music together, and we did an RPM together. And
We did 3.
3. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, one of them popped up in my Facebook. I think our last one that we did with our friend Krista Penny, Trixie, because we had a band, the 3 of us called the Dilettantes, and did 3 RPMs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the last one, Roots and Boots, was that the last one? That one popped up in my Facebook memories today.
Oh, there you go.
That's lovely.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
this is the month that we tend to make a lot of music.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that's kind of where I started. And then from that, the Swingin' Bells was born. And then it's been...
Awesome. And I should also mention, too, I know you've heard this many, many times. Your brother is the host of CBCQ and also the member of the Dardanelles, Tom Power.
That's right.
So both you guys are really like destined to be into music. And it's great you guys are following very similar but also very different paths. Him going to the trad side and yourself going to the children's music.
Yeah, and my brother Brian is also a wonderful musician, and he's right down the folk lane, too. So, yeah, we all like to sling a guitar.
Right? And what about yourself, Laura? What got you into music?
Mine's a little bit different, I guess. There's some music in my family. My nan was a beautiful piano player, and but I started taking singing lessons when I was 6, private singing lessons. So I am a classically trained vocalist.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I took. I was very serious, very devoted to it. I was going to go to music school actually, but I kind of wimped out at the last minute and just did a folklore degree instead. But I was, a very high soprano, very, very high, and did all the light opera, all the arias, all the, Kiwanis Music Festival. Like every year I'd have like 11 classes that I was singing in and competing in. So I was pretty into it. But then I guess, I didn't do much with it beyond university. And then when I went away for my second degree, I went to Nova Scotia to do my education degree. I kind of learned how I bought a secondhand guitar and sort of taught myself how to play a little bit. And I wrote a song for a class, a creative arts class called Shapes. And it is actually on our first album. And then I just, when I moved back home, when I was 30, I moved back home to do my master's in folklore, and I kind of fell in with these other gang of musicians in my grad program in folklore, and they had a band called the Nancy Drew Burlesque Band.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't a burlesque band. It had nothing to do with Nancy Drew. They were a trad band.
It's burlesque band without the burlesque.
No burlesque. Yeah, they were a trad band. And they knew that I was musically inclined, but they didn't need a guitar player. They already had one, so they asked if I would play the bass. And I didn't know how to play the bass, but I got a bass, and I learned how to play it a little bit. So I played with them. And then Erin and I started working at the same school at Bishop Field, and we knew each other a bit from when we were younger. And we just started playing music together, hanging out at Erin's kitchen, and went from there. And then we both kind of diversified our instruments. At one point Erin said, "Look, I got this mandolin from my brother. I'm going to learn how to play it." And I tried the mandolin too, but it didn't grab me. I didn't have Erin's devotion to learning. But then I started playing the banjo, and I kind of taught myself how to play. And then we went the Dilettantes, like we mentioned before, with our friend Krista, because she played guitar. And then, the rest goes from Erin's story.
Oh, yes. The rest, they say, is history. But I want to change subjects here for a moment, because Laura and Erin, you two are both elementary school teachers at Bishop Field.
Yep.
And I just want to ask, why did you guys want to become elementary school teachers?
Well, I guess I also grew up in a family of musicians and also teachers.
Oh, wow.
And so for a long time, I didn't have any, I wasn't going to go into education. I was kind of exploring different things. I did a degree in anthropology, traveled around a little bit. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I used to have all these jobs that ended up working with young people. And I really loved those, whether it was in a coaching capacity or teaching. I taught in Korea for a little while, and I really enjoyed that space. And so it just made sense after some time to to do that professionally. And because I really like hanging out with kids. They're really interesting. And I think I would rather spend my days with children more than adults anyway. So it was a natural kind of progression. Kids are really open. They're really creative. They're really adventurous and exciting. Well, that can be somewhat exhausting sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
There is also an excitement to it that keeps it fresh. So this is my journey into education.
For sure. My mom's an elementary school teacher herself. Well, she's a substitute teacher.
Yes.
And she says the same thing. It is so exhausting, but so rewarding.
Yeah, it's all of those things. For sure.
What about yourself, Laura?
Again, it's a little different than Erin. Nobody in my family was a teacher. I had no intent, it never even crossed my mind to go into teaching. But when I was before I did my education degree, I went to Dalhousie for a few years, and I was doing the first year theater course there. I finished my undergrad here. I was kind of floating around, going to other universities, doing other things, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was doing a theater course, and a community theater company that did children's theater productions with schools as an after-school program came to the theater class and was looking for volunteers to come and work at a school writing and directing plays with kids as a once-a-week kind of program for the school year. And so I got into that, and I found I really liked it. I didn't, like, always, I taught some camps and done some babysitting and stuff over the years, but writing plays with kids is really, and making this, this theater production. And so I just said, maybe I'll just apply to do an education degree next year. And sure enough, I got in, and I still wasn't totally sold, but I didn't know what else to do at that point, and it seemed kind of fun. So I did it, and, I've had it's hard. It's a hard job. It's, it's not, there's a lot more policy and things like that than I anticipated as a, younger woman getting into this. I thought it was going to be all theater and arts and visual arts, and because that's, a lot of my passions lie there in those areas. But I bring as much of that as I possibly can into my classroom. And I always have. So, there's it does provide opportunity for creative people to help share that passion with young people, and kind of move beyond the regular school curriculum that might be presented to them. It's just it's nice to kind of share what you know, and see if you can help inspire someone else.
Yeah, and you just mentioned your love for children, your love for education. You put all that together with your love of music, and you formed the Swinging Bells around 2013, 2014 time with the man over here to my left, Duane Andrews. So how did this all come together, this Swinging Bells project?
I guess it started with Laura's song Shapes before she even knew that it was going to be.
I guess it was fate, right?
It was. Well, we were doing the RPM challenge, like we had said, and anytime we got together to play, we would share little songs that we were writing in our classroom, because we were writing music for kids. For when you're in a classroom, you write music all the time, right? And so Laura kind of made this suggestion of, why don't we try an RPM
of children's songs.
Children's songs
that we wrote.
Yeah, so we started writing some songs together, and it was fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun doing that.
Really fun.
Yeah, and then Duane kind of.
Well, I remember I used to record the.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I recorded all those dilettantes.
Yeah, all the
some of the
dilettantes.
RPMs as well. I was just around, so when they needed to get recorded, I kind of gave a hand, more on the technical side, and just helping the recordings get made. And then when the children's album concept started, I think it was more like, it was kind of like, we'll just do another one. This time it's, these songs, which were more geared towards children. But once we started doing it, it was like, this actually feels like, there's more to it than just an RPM.
Yeah.
And then we took that one and kind of developed it a bit more and did a full release. And
yeah, and that
became the first album.
Yeah. More Sheep, Less Sleep came from the original, it started in the RPM.
It was going to be an RPM.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it just all the pieces just came together. Duane's guitar playing, we had our instruments and the songs and the music and the singing and the harmonies and all the kind of things, and it all just like fit together, and it just felt.
Yeah, it was a very organic kind of thing. It just felt right.
So it was less sleep, more sheep, right?
Yeah.
More sheep, less
I still
sleep.
get it.
I said more sleep, less sheep tonight. Okay, my apologies there.
That's okay. We didn't notice.
We still get it mixed up a bunch of times.
There's actually the
Thankfully,
song.
I'm not the only one, hey?
It's funny. The title track to that album is a song that we almost never perform in public anymore because kids always love it, but we always mess up the words. We always mess up the words.
Oh, I'd imagine, especially when you're mixing up the words every 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I know. And then we sometimes get words stuck in our heads, and anyway, it's a whole racket.
But yeah, that was your first album. We'll get to that in further detail later on. But I just want to talk about what are some of the artists and sounds that really make up the Swinging Bells, pretty much signature sound.
Yeah, well, I guess driving a lot on the instrument side would be Duane and his love for Django Reinhardt. Would you agree?
Certainly, there's a lot of swing and kind of pomp from the guitar side. But I'd say the Secret Sisters. I mean, that was in the beginning.
That was
Go back and use them as kind of even when we're stylistically kind of looking at how we wanted the album to sound. Like, we'd use some of the. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're a duo. They actually are.
They actually are sisters.
I'm not familiar with them.
You love them. They're fantastic.
So kind of like, I guess, Americana or like, rootsy kind of, maybe they're from the South. They did an album, at least one, with T-Bone Burnett.
I think that was their first one. I don't know. They've done several since.
Yeah, I heard of T-Bone Burnett.
Yeah, so they did. It's so good. We really fell in love with that album when we heard it.
The harmonies on that album, they're solid. It's a beautiful, beautiful album.
So yeah, is that what you're trying to go for when it comes to harmonies for Swinging Bells?
Yeah, well,
but there's also like that more the kind of 30s, 40s kind of swing era harmonies, or like the Andrews sisters.
Yeah.
I've heard of them.
There's different ways you can approach like a harmony sort of ensemble. Like sometimes there's a lead vocal and the harmony is more behind it. But with that kind of more sort of from the hot jazz era of say the 30s, 40s, even the 50s. It's more like the vocals blend more as two together instead of a lead and a foreground and a background, say. Mm-hmm. So some of the things from that era, those styles, certainly stuck with us, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And I think most of the stuff that Laura and I were singing together forever has always been a harmony. Like it's always been harmony singing, and that's just kind of. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just what we love.
Satisfying in my own personal life than hearing a good harmony, and that's, the ones are a great example of that. Like there's lots of amazing musicians, who are making beautiful harmonies, and it's just something special in the air when you hear that kind of stuff. For me, anyway.
When it comes to live music, for me, I'm a sucker for harmonies. Yeah. I'm just gonna name a couple more. The Ennis Sisters are great. Quote the Raven. Yeah. The Fortunate Ones, just absolutely amazing. I'll put you guys in that category as well. You guys are phenomenal with harmonies.
Thank you. Yeah, we do love it. But yeah, so our sound is a bit of a mix of a bunch of things. And even within the albums, there's different songs that, kind of take a different twist here and there stylistically. And it's a bit of a blend. Yeah,
when we're recording, Duane will often, as the producer, will often say, okay, so for this song, Erin and I will have kind of the song like roughed out, more or less, and then we'll kind of, say, okay, we're ready to sing it for you, and then Duane will come sit with the guitar, and he'll figure out a few kind of different sounds, and he'll say, okay, are you guys going more for the, what was it? There was one song that didn't make it to that new album, but I remember we were talking, it was going to be the Chuck Berry sound or you were comparing, it was two options, or the Jimmy Buffett. Do you want that song to have are we going for the Chuck Berry or the Jimmy Buffett? And the song, maybe it'll be on our next album. It's called Tin Can Telephone, and it's got legs for sure, but it needs to, and that's often what happens, Well, this album has songs on it that were written for the last album that didn't make it. And then several years later, we're like, we should pick that song up again. And then the song's gotten a reworking, and then suddenly it's a kind of a different song and it's perfect for the next album.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And your first album was more sleep, more sheep, less sleep.
Yes,
Right?
that's right.
The more sheep there are, the less sleep you get.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 sheep, 2 sheep,
Right?
3 sheep,
Yeah.
or 1 sleep, 2 sleep, 3 sleep. I'm getting this all mixed up, but anyways, More Sheep, Less Sleep was the name of your debut album, which came out in 2014, and it got you a Canadian Folk Music Award and your first Juno. I just want to talk about the Juno in particular. It's covering the entire country, and to be up there with some of the best children's acts in the country, that must have been amazing for you guys. So what was that feeling like to get that Juno nomination and win that Juno?
It's all very
Pretty surreal. Yeah.
Yeah, we even just to get the nomination was really surprising for us.
Yeah.
We were both in our classrooms teaching when the nominations came out.
No way.
Yeah. And the secretary at my school, Diane, came down to let me know.
You're just like, hey Erin, you're nominated for a Juno.
Totally. I was teaching kindergarten at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so my students had no concept of the Juno.
No.
They just wanted to know if we were going outside after recess. I peeled their banana.
Right?
You're just like, it's like, Miss Power, what's a Juno?
Oh, exactly.
Oh, yeah, they have no idea.
And so that was really fun.
Yeah.
But our school community is really support. We weren't teaching at the same school at the time, but our school community has really supported us in that time.
Yeah.
And
Lots of support.
then when we won the Juno, I mean, that was I think if you look at the picture, us going up to get the
We all kind of have our jaws hanging open, like,
yeah, it's like Laura is actually like this.
in all the pictures. I'm like,
Yeah, and I look like a deer caught in the headlights, and we're like, and Duane just has the biggest smile on his face.
the biggest Duane smile
The calm,
possible.
cool, and collected, like cool hand
Exactly.
Luke.
Always.
And
Yeah.
so it was thrilling. It was it was genuine. People get up all the time and they say, "Oh, this is so unexpected," but for us, it was really unexpected.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys deserve it, 100%. It's a really wonderful album.
thanks.
And congratulations again.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
It
Yeah,
was
I
a
mean, we
sweet
love that album.
Yeah, lots of fun with that album.
And we love that music, like that. You know, we still sing a lot of the songs on that album in our live
Well, I mean,
show.
we still pretty much open every show with the first.
We open and close.
Yeah.
Open and close the show with songs from that album.
Gratitude, and I Think You're Great, and that's the two
Yeah.
OGs.
They're
Well,
the
listen,
mainstay.
I think you're great for all the music that you guys provide little children and
thanks.
having them, because I remember I was at the folk festival a few years ago and seeing all the children dance to those songs. I Think You're Great. Sea Creatures Ball, Attitude of Gratitude. You really got a big following built up, and that first Juno was really only the beginning of what was to come for the Swinging Bells.
Yeah, we hope so.
And it
Feels
was
that way.
too. That really, what it did, which was wonderful, was open us up to kind of the festival circuit and stuff like. So we were able to get our name out there, even though we were a newer band,
Mm-hmm.
and we were able to travel a little bit more. And from that, we've really had the opportunity to do quite a bit of travel with the band and sing
Yeah.
for audiences.
Done lots
all
of
over the
things
place.
all over.
Yeah. And I believe it was the folk festival I first met you, Laura.
Yeah.
And I got to meet you, Erin, and Duane down the road. And I remember Duane had much less hair than he does right now. Well, much less hair he had much
Yeah.
less thicker beard.
Yeah, that's grown out over time. Eventually, there'll be animals.
He's a wizard.
He is a wizard.
Oh, yes.
He's a wizard at the guitar, I can tell you that much. He's one of the best the province has to offer.
I
Oh, no
totally agree
doubt.
with that.
No doubt.
No, we're gonna work on getting a few animals for his beard.
Oh, yes.
I remember one time you were at the folk festival, you had the ant head on, and it was just like, that was great.
The ant hat has been a source of joy for many people.
I know, it's really true. And to,
Yeah, like a couple of eyeballs that light up or something.
Oh,
Oh,
you
yes,
know
yes.
now.
yeah.
He's
Are you-
coming up with ideas. All right.
Do you want to kill these two every time that they pull one of these antics on you, Duane?
No, because I mean, it may be a little awkward or odd, but I mean, the audience loves it, and you see, especially the children. I mean, they get into it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters, right?
Yeah, it's great.
That you put on a great show and everyone has a good time.
I know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Duane, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, Duane, but I might suggest that perhaps you're enjoying it more now than you were a little while ago. And to the point that we did have a show a few weeks ago, and I believe you even went,
You requested
requested the glasses that I had just
heart-shaped Valentine's Day
Oh,
glasses.
nice.
Yeah.
And so, yes, maybe costuming is the new thing for you.
I'm getting lots of practice now.
I guess we have those costumes for that album that came out just about a year or two ago, which is Welcome to the Flea Circus.
Yeah.
And I featured many of those songs on newfound releases in the past. We're going to get to one of them right after this conversation here on Next to Connect.
Awesome.
But this album really took off when it comes to the recognition that it's received. You have an East Coast Music Award nomination, CFMA nomination. The awards are coming here in St. John's April 4th to 7th, which is very exciting. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
and you're also up for a Juno, which is in a couple of weeks by the time that this does drop. So
Yeah, it's coming fast.
yeah. So how does it feel to have so much recognition just for this one album alone? I just want to add further to that. I believe we talked about this already.
Yeah.
But just for this particular album, Laura, you called it the little album that could. So about this little album that
Yeah.
could, are you proud of how much recognition it has received?
Oh my gosh, it's kind of blowing our minds. Like once, because we were making it and we were, it's funny when you make an album, it goes in so many directions. And, we had songs that we had to choose from and some that we loved that just didn't quite fit with the musical aesthetics, if that's even a thing, of the song, right? There's the Jimmy Buffett stuff. But that one will come back.
Yeah, Margaritaville on a Swingin' Bells album.
But it was such a funny album. We were looking at each other and kind of cracking up, being like, "This song is ridiculous," but we're going to put it on the album anyway. This song is ridiculous. I like this, and it was kind of back and forth over these kind of funny songs. And some of them were even, we were like, "Oh, we need one more verse. We need one more verse," and we'd write like a few lines and be like, "Oh my God, those were." Dwayne's like, "Let's just record those for now. You guys can change those later." And then we go and listen to the album. And we're like, I really like that line, or I really like that verse. Let's not change anything. And so we kind of fell in love with the album as we were recording it. So yeah.
Yeah, that album's got a lot of love in it because we were just making songs and we were writing all these songs and we loved all of them.
Yeah.
Even though, so there wasn't a consistent theme through it all. It was just like these songs that we just loved, and we had a great time recording, and we
had a lot of fun recording that album.
And I hope that you can hear that in the album, and maybe that's why people, enjoy it when they listen to it, is they can hear that love that you put into it.
I was thinking as well, it also is I guess if you ask that question of why even make an album anymore, because the way that the music business has changed.
Yeah, everything's like very single-based these days.
Single-focused thing, and albums take a lot of energy and a lot of effort and commitment and all kinds of
money.
And money, it is a big.
Which we didn't have any for this album.
Oh, no way.
No, we made.
We did it all, self-financed and in-house. But it's still a question, and even beyond the financial side, but just the commitment actually makes, because you always have to do it beyond the best of your abilities. Like that's the approach you take. So the standards are high. So to maintain that does take a lot of work. And then you wonder, is it actually worth it anymore? Like why? Because you could do it as a single and it's spread out more over time, and it isn't as it's easier to kind of digest or process maybe music in if it were in a single sort of release plan. But the question comes up, I guess, and it's a valid one, is why even make an album anymore? But at least this part of the music business, you can see how you can get some at least some light shine on what you're doing. When you get some nice recognition like we got with this one.
Absolutely. And I actually want to put you guys on the spot for this next question here, because I like to ask this every so often when it comes to albums being put out. What's your favorite song on Welcome to the Flea Circus, and why? I'm going to start right over here with you, Duane, since you were the last one to ask to answer that last question I just asked.
I'd say
what's your favorite?
It is the title track for a bunch of reasons. Just like the concept of it, because it really is like Welcome to the Flea Circus, and it starts with Erin doing this kind of grand ringmaster introduction, and then we start to meet all the characters, like the fantastic flying brothers Flea, and they get shot out of a cannon, and like it's a really kind of vivid, just wild, sort of exciting time at the circus. So, I mean, the story and the concept of it all, and then, but also we've been getting into what we're calling electric swing or electro swing, and then Isaac Andrews Power helps us out with kind of the electronic side of all that. So we got some of that sound in that track as well.
What about you, Erin?
So
Tough
hard.
question, Zach. I love Welcome to the Flea Circus too. I really love, actually, we did a cover on this one too. We always sneak a cover in there, and the cover that we chose this time was a real classic, and it's Ladybug's Picnic from Sesame Street.
Oh, yeah.
And that's been, I think, one of my favorite songs for my whole life.
Yeah,
And
that's a good
so
one.
it's really fun to record that song and kind of put our own twist on it. And it's really fun to perform that because it hits, we say we make music for the young and the young at heart, right?
Oh, yes.
It not only hits the kids, we're introducing the kids to that music, but it also kind of taps in parents and grandparents.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, because Sesame Street's been out since 1969.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
And then you play that Ladybug's Picnic song, and you're just like, I watched that when I was 4, back in like 1970 something, or
Yeah,
whatever
we
like that.
covers a lot of bases for sure.
Yeah, so that's a really nice thing to be able to do, is to bring some of those classics into the lives of young kids today, you know?
And you're the last one, Laura. What's your favorite?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. From the minute you said you were going to ask us that question, I've been running through it, and we really have a lot of love for this album, and I'm going to say I love all of it, but I got a little special love for Chimneys, because it makes me laugh. The imagery and the idea for Chimneys is one of those ones that's been burbling around for ages. You know, it's in every notebook. Like, what if we wrote a song about chimneys? Chimneys are, what would happen? And there's a line in that song, perhaps they dream a dream. And I've got actually the word perhaps tattooed up here on my arm, and there's a blank book above it. And I had that done when we were playing in Calgary at the Calgary Children's Festival.
Oh, wow.
A number of years ago. And I don't know if Chimneys was existing in my mind then. It might have been that perhaps. I love that word. And the Chimneys story is very dear to my heart. I often look at chimneys on roof lines, especially in St. John's. I often stand in Duane and Erin's house that looks out over, it's all row houses down there. It's a classic, real downtown, heart of downtown housing
Nice.
or neighborhood. And so it's got all these different shaped chimneys. And I often think about them and what if they came to life and what would happen?
And so that's what that whole song is about. It's like when the winter's over, what do the chimneys do? And it tells the stories of the chimneys going to the seaside and
Going to the park,
for the ride.
Nice.
eating ice cream.
Yeah, and then they climb back up again and they get back to
Back to biz.
biz. Yeah, that's a great song. We gotta say that one too.
Oh, yeah.
That is wonderful.
Yeah. So,
And that's one that's been around. Like Laura said, Laura popped that was in your mind for a long.
yeah, but I could never quite get it right. And then it had its moment, and we got the three of us. We sat down and kind of hammered it out. You try to figure out what's missing from a song, or what needs to be changed, or does it need a verse taken out? Does it need a bridge? And that's the beauty of writing songs with other people, especially people who are gifted in other ways. That like Erin can say, no, you got to have a bridge here. And then Erin writes a mean bridge. I mean, I could just go verse, chorus for like my whole life. And then Duane's like, musical break. And then Duane will say, what about if we put it in a different key? What about if we change the time signature? Let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. So that really is the one of the great joys of writing music with other people, is that you get all those things to help, make your vision of a song come to fruition.
Oh, 100%. Now, you guys, of course, I said you guys are up for a Juno Award, you're up for a Canadian Folk Music Award, you're up for an East Coast Music Award, and of course yourself, Duane, you're up for an East Coast Music Award for Jankology. Junos are in March in Halifax. Canadian Folk Music Awards are here in St. John's in April, and Charlottetown is where the ECMAs will be in May.
Yeah.
So, aside from all that, what's next for the Swinging Bells?
I just want to pop in, if you don't mind me just interjecting about the Canadian Folk Music Awards being here. It's so special for us because the very first award we ever received was a Canadian Folk Music Award in Calgary?
Edmonton. Yeah, and it was, we went out.
Yeah.
It was our first awards show, anything we'd ever been nominated for, and we won it.
Yeah.
And it was just Erin and I went, and it was such a thrill.
Yeah, and it was such a nice, such a nice event. It's a couple of nights of music. There's lots of performances. There's lots of amazing artists there. So to have it coming here this year,
It's really special. It's a really, if anyone listening, keep your eyes and ears open for the events that go with it, including our event, which is at the Rooms.
yeah, the children's there's
Yeah.
a family showcase at the Rooms.
Nice.
Wonderful, right? So we love that people really keep that in the forefront of their minds and make sure that the family music is represented.
Oh, absolutely. If there is one thing, though, that I do love about awards conferences, it's not so much like the awards ceremonies itself, because it's nice to see people get their recognition and, get the wins that they do, because they all deserve it.
Sure.
It's seeing the showcases, too, and seeing them,
Yeah.
being out there and playing and doing what you guys do best, and that's, playing music to a crowd and, getting that great reaction from that crowd. And, help building the scene really one song at a time.
Yeah,
That's absolutely true.
so exciting.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and we're showcasing at the ECMAs as well, which is I think that's first for us. And
Wow.
I don't know if there's any other they don't do the children's category was kind of defunct for quite some time. In the East Coast Music Awards, they hadn't been having a category for a number of years. There wasn't enough interest. There wasn't enough. There weren't enough children's acts going on.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that rejuvenated, and we're really happy to play a small part in kind of bringing that back.
Awesome. I don't think there's a children's category for the MusicNL Awards either, is there?
Not yet.
No, we're working on
We're
it.
working on it.
Awesome. Listen, I look forward to seeing that, because you guys can be really the leaders of the children's music scene here in the
Yeah.
province, and hopefully other people follow suit too, because I would like to see some more children's music here in the
Sure.
province.
Absolutely.
Family music is really important, and I think there's a lot of great musicians here that could do a great job of that for sure.
Yeah.
So what else is next for you guys?
We got a lot of travel coming up, I guess, in the
Yeah.
next little bit. So that'll be kind of taking up a lot of our time. And then we're kind of looking at the summer now to hopefully get some good touring in for the summer and go around like that. So it's kind of where our focus is at the moment. And it's an exciting place to be.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for people who want to find out more about the Swinging Bells and what you guys are going to be up to next, where can they go?
Oh, everywhere.
We're all over the social
We got the
medias.
socials.
We're on Instagram. That's where we like to spend a lot of our time. Facebook. We've been doing a lot of Facebook Lives over the last little bit. And so we often pop a show in there. Those are our two main ones, but we're on all the others as well.
And we have a website.
And we do, yes. And you can check it out there and join our mailing list if you like, if people want to find out what we're doing and where we're going and stuff like that. So lots of ways to reach. And you can just send us a straight up email if you like, or send us a letter.
Here's our address.
Who even mails letters out anymore?
I know, exactly.
We did do a big letter writing thing a number of years. One of our first years, we brought blank postcards to a show, and we had kids write their addresses down, and we collected the postcards, and we sat down one afternoon and wrote them all letters and put them in the mail.
That was awesome.
Because really, that's a lost. Remember the excitement of being a kid and getting something in the mail, And,
Yeah, I'm not really used to that, though, because I'm always used to having things sent to me through the internet, through email.
Mail. Snail mail is a real treat.
I know. So there you go.
Well, listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys here in this new space, and also have you on the Musical Connections podcast finally. It's been a long time coming, and congratulations again on
Thank
the
you.
massive success of Welcome to the Flea Circus. Hopefully you sweep all those awards nominations that you're up for.
That would
you
be
guys
amazing.
definitely deserve it, but it's still great to be nominated all the same. So,
Absolutely.
Laura
Yeah.
Winter, Erin Power, Duane Andrews, the Swinging Bells, thank you so much for joining me on Next to Connect. You guys have a wonderful day, and good luck once again in the months ahead.
Thank you so
Thanks, Zach.
much,
And
Zach.
congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you on all your success.
Yes, we'll
For the
see you
last
at the
while.
ECMAs.
Yes, Media Person of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm in pretty tough, but fingers crossed there too.
Oh,
but,
well, we're
It's
looking
well-
forward to seeing you up there.
Well-deserved, for sure. You're a hard-working person, and we really appreciate everything you do in our community. So
Me
thanks so
too.
much for that.
Thank you. Yes.